similar to tulips, peonies tend to bloom all at once. I have several beds of peonies around the farm. This is my oldest bed and also the one that is in the most sun. 1 weekend away and they almost all popped. So many of these are too far along to sell, but still beautiful enough to cut and bring inside and enjoy them for myself or for friends and family. But the other beds are still about to pop. They've budded up, you've got some color, but they're not just quite there yet. How do you know when is the right time to harvest? So this particular bed, I can show you several examples. These are too far along to harvest, to sell for bouquets. This one as well. You can harvest and include it in a bouquet and it'll keep opening up and you'll still have quite a bit of vase life. But if you're going to sell to designers or include in a bouquet of just peonies, I would include some that are open like this and others that are just about to open. This is the perfect stage to harvest peonies. This is what's called the marshmallow stage. It's opened. You can get some squeeze on it here, whereas something like this is still a little bit too hard. It's opened, you can see the coloring, but it's got no give on it yet. It's not a squishy feel when you press on it like this. There's a few different varieties here. Several varieties bloom at different times. So the first to bloom for me were the Coral Sunset and the Coral Charm and the Sunset peonies. Then we have these, and then the whites are the ones that bloom latest for me in this bed. You can harvest at this marshmallow stage and store, dry storage, and hold them for almost up to 2 months. And I will show you how to do that. This is a good stage to harvest, either to use fresh in a bouquet and it'll finish opening up, or you can store these dry and pull them out of cold storage when you want to use them. When harvesting peonies, you want to cut the stem just as far down as long as you want your bouquet. So I do about 20 or so inches, maybe a little bit longer. It's right in here. And then I just strip the leaves and put in a bucket without water. And I will collect several of these and then bring them inside to wrap in groups of 5s or 10s and hold them in storage, cold storage. Once peony season starts, you will have to harvest every day. As you can see, these are already 2 blown open, so I won't be harvesting those to sell, just to enjoy personally. But I will be harvesting these that are in the marshmallow stage. And I'll be going through the fields, the peony fields, every day, selecting those that are ready to harvest. This one is still a little too tight, but perhaps in the next couple of days, it'll be ready to harvest. So you'll have to go through your peony rows every day to select those that are ready to harvest and that you can dry store. Here are some additional peony beds in another area of my garden. They get just a little bit less sun than the others, and so you can see these are budded up. You can see some color, but they are not all quite ready to harvest yet. Most of them are still a little tight and not yet in that marshmallow stage. Really just a few here. So I will go through these and harvest what is ready now, and then come through again tomorrow and harvest a few more stems that might be ready by then. Many people find it surprising when I tell them that you can harvest and store peonies, sometimes up to 2 months, and just rehydrate them and use them, and they will be good as new. Let me show you how to do that. So you want to be sure that you harvest them at the right stage to store. I've got some buckets here. These were harvested early this morning. So this is a bucket of peonies that are dry. There's no water in this bucket. And these are others that I harvested at the same time. And as you can see, these have opened up, and these are in a bucket of water. So these are too far along to store dry. These are good to use in bouquets now. The dry ones, I wanted to show you a few different stages and what I would consider good enough to store. So you'll see here, this is a marshmallow stage, and so is this one and this one. This one was marshmallow but opened up during the course of the day, so this is not a good candidate for storing, dry storage. This one I wouldn't store either. While most of it is still in marshmallow stage, this little corner here, this little section has started to really open up. The petals has started to unfurl, so this would not be a candidate. These two, I would trim the ends and put them in the bucket of water. This one I might still store. I might just take these few petals off and store it. This one as well, a good candidate for storing. And this is not a good candidate for storing. So even though it hasn't fully opened, it is too far along, not tight enough to store dry. I don't think it is, but I'm going to test it and see. So one important thing to keep in mind is that the best time to harvest peonies is either early in the morning or late afternoon or early evening in the cooler parts of the day. So what happens is that harvesting during the day, the peonies will open up. So you want to make sure that you harvest in the cool parts of the day. So these were all harvested early this morning, and they still had some morning dew on them. So I set them inside my barn here, just a cool, dry place, and let them dry throughout the day. And now I can store them. I can wrap them up and store them in my cooler for use whenever I need them. I'll just pull them out and rehydrate them, give them a cut, and put them back into water. So let me show you how I store them, how I wrap them. First, make sure that you select the number of stems that you want to store. So I usually store in groups of 5 or 10, and I try to store them all the same color so that if I needed to make an all white bouquet, for instance, I can just reach into the cooler and pull out a packet of the 5 stem bunches or 10 stem bunches of white peonies that I've stored. I will be labeling everything after I've wrapped them, so I'll know what's what in the cooler. So you can wrap with craft paper, you can wrap with newspaper, really anything is good as long as it's just a flexible wrap. You don't want to wrap in plastic. I find that paper is best. So I'm going to select a few here I'm going to mix them because I don't have enough. Oh, actually I do. So let's do the whites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll notice that I have taken the leaves off of, most of the leaves off of these stems. Makes it easier to store, and also the leaves don't rehydrate so well. So I've got these, and I'm just going to trim the end so that they're all the same size. And the important thing is that you cover the top here. So I'm going to just take the corner of the craft paper and fold it over. And I don't know if you can see this, but I've folded them, taken this corner and just folded them over the heads of the peonies. And now I'm just going to kind of roll and wrap. This is a pretty large paper. We don't need all of that. But I also want to be sure that I cover the bottom tip of my peonies too. So I'm just going to use all of the paper. And then you could just tape this or staple it. Sometimes I find stapling is just a little easier. There you go. So the heads are well covered, and so are the tips. And I'm going to make sure I label them. I've got 5 white, 5 white. You can even be more specific. These were festiva, so I can write 5 festiva. And then I'm going to store these in my cooler, just laying flat down, just like this. And you can pile them on top of each other. And you can store these peonies in this fashion in the cooler. I have found that this works for up to 2 months for me. Although I often pull them out a lot sooner because I have reason to use them sooner. But they can be stored for quite a long time if you are sure to cover them up and store them laying flat like this, and that you've harvested them at the right stage. And importantly, you don't want to do this when they have any moisture on them. So you want to be sure that if you're harvesting them early in the morning, that you've given them time to dry out during the day, so that there is no evidence of morning dew or anything like that, no moisture when you wrap, or else you risk introducing fungal issues or stains on your petals. So that's it. It's pretty easy peasy. Why don't you try it at home?